Well, it is official. Lyft and Uber are on their way to Alaska. The governor signed legislation yesterday that had been passed back in May that allows these ride-sharing companies to operate in the state. And Uber has already announced, of course, that they're planning on coming back to Alaska in full force. Lyft has also announced this week that as soon as that bill is signed, they're going to be operating. So apparently Lyft has been working behind the scenes that people didn't even know about. They're ready to go. The bit of a standoff over the budget has been complicated by the fact that the Alaska House decided this week to double the dividend. Remember last year, Governor Walker cut the dividend by a veto. He basically vetoed the money that the legislature had set aside to pay the dividend like they're required by law to do. He said, no, we're not going to spend it this year, put it back in the general fund. Well, now the House has said we're going to pay the full dividend this year. The Senate's over there saying, hey, I thought we can't afford to pay the money that we're due to pay the people. We have to pay our retirement instead. So we're going to have to do something about that. Basically, it means that negotiations are back on square one on the last day of the special session. What we can expect, therefore, is for the governor to call a second special session. This at a time, of course, that we're $2.5 billion budget deficit. Let's keep the legislature over time for one special session. Now, a second one, because if they don't, of course, we're going to have a government shutdown on July 1st. The Borough Recycling Center here in the Fairbanks area has been delayed. The opening was supposed to be on July 1st, and they're pushing it back by a couple of months, the exact date to come, because the building has to be refurbished to be compliant, to be a recycling center. 3 hikers were injured. Actually, there were 4 of them together. 3 of them got injured by a brown bear near the Eagle River Campground. They didn't have any idea the bear was there. They were hiking through, all of a sudden crashing through the bush. Here's the bear. Wildlife officials say that it's likely just one of those surprise encounters. However, when they went in there to investigate, the brown bear charged them too, and they shot it. She didn't die. She ran off. She's got some cubs in the area. They're keeping an eye out, but for now they have suspended the search. This is a whole slew. I think there have been 7 bears that have been killed in defense of life and property so far this year in Alaska. And another one was shot down in Sitka, in which the homeowner let the dog out, and a bear came running up to chase the dog, and so the homeowner shot that bear. An Alaska business-backed group has spent more than $10,000 on last-minute anti-income tax television ads. The fellow who appears in the ad apparently is running or planning to run for governor. He didn't say anything about that. He just basically was against the income tax while petting the dog. In the Fairbanks Four trial, you remember the witness Arlo Olson, who basically admitted that he'd been pressured and coached to give testimony against the Fairbanks Four. When he admitted that in 2015, it is what led to their sentence being vacated. The 4 teens, well, at the time teens, 17 years, they were in prison for something that they said they always maintained they never did. Olson has been found dead in his cell from apparent suicide. The Wasilla City Council is planning to debate a planned pot shop. You see, the pot shop is going to be outside of city limits, but they're talking about, well, if we decide to annex the area, then it will be inside city limits and it will be outlawed. Therefore, we're going to protest it now. And Alaskans are getting another extension as the state prepares to implement Real ID. The Mayo Clinic is teaming up with Foundation Health Partners in Fairbanks. This collaboration will allow the independent hospital here in Fairbanks to remain independent while at the same time still benefiting from collaboration with outside resources. And lastly, some bad news for hockey fans in Anchorage. The Alaska Aces are moving to Portland, Maine. As of fall of 2018, they will be something else. The name has not yet been determined. So there you have it. That's our news. More stories are available by becoming a subscriber at radiofreespeech.com. Check it out.